Hello and welcome to Creative Insights. We're here at Etern House at UHI North Western Hebrides Allness campus, and we're delighted to have another video podcast in our Creative Insights series. We're doing a range of interviews with different creative people to talk about their inspiration, and this series we're focusing on a range of musicians who are composing original music and living and working in the Highlands and Islands. Last time we had Tia Jean Bodden, who was a singer-songwriter. We had a great conversation with her. And today we're talking to Liam Ross, who's a fingerstyle guitarist. Is that right, Liam?
That's fair.
Brilliant. Living and working in Easter Ross. And I've asked Liam to think about 3 pieces of music today. Something from early in his writing career, something he would consider as best, or as Tia Jean said last time, the one she dislikes the least. Maybe that's a better way for creative people to talk about it. And something that you've finished most recently. So we'll do that, and we'll talk about each of them maybe a little bit before and after. So Liam, writing guitar music, I think you talk about your pieces of music as songs rather than pieces of music. Is there a reason for that?
I don't think so. I think it's the way I approach to writing things. I think in songs because it's just the way my mind works, and it's also like what I've been really brought up on music-wise, listening to songs. So it's kind of, you've kind of got that 3-minute thing to say everything. There's not room, arguably, for waffle. So,
and do you think that also affects the structure of the music that you write then?
I think so, like more when I first started, not so much now because I'm kind of, I guess, creating my own identity as a guitar player and as a songwriter. So I don't tend to think of them as songs as much anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I approach them like as if I'm writing lyrics, because I used to write lyrics back in the day, but I've never shown anyone, sort of thing.
So you would write, but you'd write the lyrics to accompany the music, but no one would need to know that. Okay, that's really helpful to know that. Okay, so this first one is from early in your music making career. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how it came about, and then you'll play it for us, hopefully.
So like this was from my first album, which was based on abandoned places in the Highlands and Scotland, and this one in particular, I can remember I was down in Glasgow at a stag do, and I wrote this one after being down there, and it's really interesting because I think I've got like almost a delayed songwriting mind, where I write the song without really knowing what it is about straight away.
Okay.
And then I sort of let them settle, and I go, oh, actually, that's what that's about. And there's a few songs like that today that are like that. But stylistically, I've sort of very influenced by Fleetwood Mac's Lindsey Buckingham, who did a lot with these sort of fingers, especially with that thumb. Just thinking of.
Yeah.
So I tried to borrow that.
So was that intentional even before you wrote this, you think?
That was intentional, and I was trying hard to communicate emotion without trying to be all fancy on the guitar, because it's very
challenging.
Easy.
Yeah, that's
it's easy
challenging.
for especially guitar players to be like, oh, look at this fancy thing that I've just learned. Let's do it everywhere.
Yeah,
sort of thing. So I just tried to focus on the song rather than the technique and skill.
Good. We'll look forward to it. Thank you.
Cool. Have it.
So that was, it definitely had a mood in it, but it wasn't like a stag night mood to me, Liam.
Yeah, I learned a lot about myself.
Oh dear. Okay.
Funnily enough, when I came back home.
Okay, I've got you. Okay, so there was some regret or learning within the song, should we say? Not regret, but
That's a good question. I'm
We
going
don't
to
let's
take
not.
serious. I'm probably learning more so.
Okay, right, great. So that's you've been writing music for about how long when you wrote that? Do you think?
Oh, mad. Probably like 8 years,
Okay.
maybe. Like to the point where I could like get enough confidence and show people.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So the next one is the one that I asked you to prepare, which you think is your best. So I'm interested in, I guess, how you evaluate that, how you made that decision. That'd be really helpful for other people to hear as well, I think.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. I quite like what Tia Jane said when she was like, that's the one I dislike the most. And it's interesting because the more you play these songs, the more you kind of get to know them, the more they kind of change with you.
Yes.
Obviously, like, we go through a lot of changes personally within our lives, and I think songs, rather than having a set structure, should change with us. You know, songs that mean something back then might mean something different to us just now. Mm-hmm. So I suppose it's a combination of that, meaning something a little bit different to me just now, and just vainly getting lots of compliments and comments about it after a concert.
Yeah. So to be fair, Liam, though, I think that's a natural thing to do, to think, right, what is something that people have given me positive feedback about, that would be the one that you would pick. So that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So when you're performing this, if you hadn't got feedback, would you still know that this was a successful piece of music?
Yeah, I suppose it's a bit different. I suppose it depends on how much faith you have in the song and the message behind the song that you're playing, whether you think it's one that sticks or one that maybe falls away. What
I'm sort of getting at, are you aware of the audience reaction to this when you've played it? Does it feel like the audience is connected to it in some way?
Yeah, and I tell a wee story, which I'll tell beforehand. And I think knowing a little bit about the inspirations of a song, it's almost like a buy-in for people. Like, okay, I can totally see what he's trying to say there, rather than just like, here's the song I wrote, hope you enjoy it, sort of thing.
Yeah, okay, so you're trying to lead the audience to understand why you wrote it and allow them to experience what you're trying to communicate.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and to this point, you feel is the one that's done that most successfully?
To this point, yeah. I feel like it's a good combination of having, you know, some of the skill that I've got, but not relying on all the flashy stuff, and actually saying something with emotional strength behind it, emotional depth, I think is a better word for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Great. So do you want to introduce it and take it away? Thanks, Liam.
Yeah. So I wrote this one. This was one I actually originally wrote for a project I was on called Dandelion, and I was the musician in residence there, and it was all about like sowing seeds, different seeds, variations, and things like that. So it was originally going to be for that, but I kind of liked it too much and maybe kept it for myself. And again, it was like a delayed thing, because one of the songwriters I admire is Bob Dylan, for like obvious reasons. And he said somewhere in an interview, I think, like every good song finds a home eventually. And I think this one did, when I sort of paired it with a story of me and my pal walking up Ben Wyvis during lockdown. And it was really hot, really sunny, no one about, just us. And I thought I was quite fit as an individual until I got to the top and realised that like it's not. It's a lot. Some home truths there. I wasn't really. But yeah, and you know, we got to the top, and I'd say this all the time. We got to the top, and before us, you know, you might have like a great view and all that. It started raining, clouded over, and all the rest of it. But we had some whiskey and beer, and the trip down was away a little bit quicker than the way back up, if you know what I mean. But I suppose I wrote this one because one of my all-time favorite musicians is the drummer from Rush called Neil Peart, and he wrote a lyric called "The point of the destination isn't to arrive," I think is how it goes. So that's kind of my thinking there. So this is called "Walking Up the Ben."
Thank you, Liam. You definitely took us on a journey there. So your style is quite interesting because it's hard to define in some ways because it's got some feet, I would say, in trad guitarist playing, but it's also
Yeah.
got definitely bluegrass elements, and I guess some sort of almost like pop or more sort of rock
Yeah.
elements. So it's interesting in that piece. So does that feel like it's closer to defining the music you want to make? Do you think, Liam?
I think so, yeah, because there's sort of everything I enjoy in there. There's the trad element and the improvisational element, which I quite like as well. Leaving,
You're not quite sure how it's going to
yeah,
go.
yeah. Leaving a little bit of room for magic to walk in the door, sort of thing.
And I think that demonstrates, I guess, a certain confidence. So when you're writing any creative practice, that ability to just be in the moment and see what happens is actually a really challenging thing to do. So it's nice to, I guess, feel that what you're describing there is, in a way, that's one of your most successful things, where you've created that space for yourself.
Yeah, because it's like that with all the sort of songs that I do. There is an element of, I wonder what's going to happen. In a way, I'm like just as surprised as everybody else is what happens.
So part of me thinks that's not a good idea, because does that not mean sometimes it doesn't go well?
Yeah, but this is cool. But sometimes it doesn't go well, and you kind of have to make like almost decisions beforehand. I used to be really hard on myself and really beat up on myself quite a lot when I made a mistake or went outside the guidelines.
Yes.
And when that inevitably, it's not if, it's probably when it happens. I would be like, oh no, the whole thing's ruined.
Yeah.
But I seen a video of Michael Caine, the actor, talking. I can't remember. It was like an interview or something, and he said a phrase called "use the difficulty."
Yeah.
So I kind of went with that, and I thought, well, is it a wrong note? Nah, not really. It might be a wrong note to some, but see how you can turn this one around, sort of thing.
That's interesting. But I can see.
And I should also say, like, that's lots of times in my living room, not 17.
Yeah, but what it does in the live performance, I guess, is it creates an element of danger for yourself, which I guess keeps you really focused on what's happening. So I can see that being an interesting. Okay, so what I've asked you to do, the last is something you're working on right now, or something fairly fresh. So let's talk a little bit about that. What is this one that we're going to hear last?
Okay, so this one, I've been writing a second album for about 7 years now. Takes a while.
Yeah.
But we're getting close. I said that 7 years ago. And this one I wrote about my grandfather, who immigrated to Canada in the 1940s, and he moved from the Black Isle over to Alberta and Calgary, which was like sort of unheard of. It was kind of like the time when everybody was doing it, sort of thing. And he's still there. He's like 102 years old, which I think is this is pretty cool. So I kind of wanted to talk about that because my second album is intrinsically linked to the Black Isle and that sort of crofting community and things like that. And I was actually, I suppose I've had tunnel vision thinking only in the Black Isle, when actually, like, there is a massive amount of Scottish people kicking about in Canada.
Yeah.
You know.
So in some ways, what's interesting about that is for people who are thinking about doing creative things, you've got yourself there quite a clear creative focus, right?
Yeah.
So it's about the Black Isle, but in a way, what this song's about is extending that concept. So one of the interesting things about any creative practice is it's a really good idea to set yourself a boundary, but what always happens is you usually step outside or look at it from an angle or do something different with it. So that's I guess what you've done here. So what is it? So this song is for him, is it?
I haven't quite decided. It's still quite fresh, and it's not quite finished, I should say.
Okay, but so it really is the late.
It really is. We were talking like this morning. I was like, oh, I'll just do this one sort of thing.
Okay.
But this one specifically, it came from lots of old family photos that I found in the house in Kilbokie, and there was one of my grandfather and my uncle looking. I think it might have been in Banff with all these hills and all the rest of it. And I was trying to let's play this picture sort of thing. And it was quite hard to write. But here it is, if you want to hear it.
Interesting, yeah, absolutely. So this is you. This is as clear as you can as a musical representation of that picture.
clear as I can. They're standing at one of these like big height view things. See all the... Do you know that kind of old style photograph as well, where it's not quite a Polaroid, but it's kind of dulled over time?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. They're posing against the backdrop of mountains for miles sort of thing.
Okay,
so
brilliant.
Trying to do this in here and in here, I suppose.
Thanks very much, Liam. That sounds finished to me.
I don't know.
Liam, where can people find you and hear about your music and know about you?
So I'm on all the usual stuff. I've got a Facebook page, an Instagram page. I've got a website as well, kind of old
great.
school. YouTube and all the rest of it. I'm not on TikTok. Quite happy to say.
Okay.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
There we go.
We'll put your social media information on the video notes. So thank you for joining us for our second Creative Insights video podcast. And we hope you enjoyed hearing. And let's have one more round of applause for Liam Ross. Thank you, Liam. Thank you. If you're feeling inspired and are interested in studying any of the creative arts courses we have at Northwest Hebrides, please do look at our website and get in touch. I'd like to thank the music and sound production students again for producing the sound and the images for the recording today. And please like and share the video podcast and help us reach more people. And I look forward to seeing you for the next one. And until then, keep creating. Thank you very much.